While scrolling, you've probably seen those buttery smooth animations, so minimal, yet they instantly grab your attention. That's the Apple style. The crazy part is, it's actually not as complicated as it looks. That's why in this video, I'm going to teach you how to create that style using just CapCut. First of all, let's break down the style and understand the structure. To get the Apple look, there are two main ingredients. First one is color. They usually use white and black with a high and low mix, then some accent colors for highlighting. Next thing is fonts. These are some of the most perfect fonts for this style, including the ones Apple uses. Using bold, regular, and medium weights on a clean white background already gives you that Apple style feel. To create this style, you mainly need to learn three things: keyframing, shape morphing, and Apple style text animation. I've already covered all three in my previous videos, so this will be much easier for you to follow. So in this video, I'll create 3 animations at 3 different levels to make it easier for you to understand. Now let's get to work. As the first one, let's create this simple toggle button animation inside CapCut. First, add a white background to the timeline. You can find it in the background section under the library tab. Go to adjust and set white to around -12. Next, go to the shape tab and add a square shape. Set the width and height to around 700. If you can't find the right size or position, here's a tip. Take a screenshot of the final animation, import it into CapCut, lower the opacity, and use it as a guide to match your placement. Or you can simply follow my steps and recreate it on your own. Set the corner radius of the square to 40 and change the color to dark gray. Now let's add text. First, create the middle text layer. I'm using the font SFUI Display Semi-Bold. Set the size to around 8 and place it slightly to the left center like this. Duplicate that text layer, move one above and one below, and change the words accordingly. Then click the 3 lines icon and add a vertical guide. Use it to align your text properly. Once done, remove the guide. Next, add another text layer and type underscores about 20 times. Scale it to 25 and place it between the texts. Duplicate it and place one below as well. Set the opacity of both lines to around 50. Now add a square shape. Set the width to 200 and height to 80 and increase the corner radius to the maximum. Place it next to the text and set the scale to around 90. Duplicate this shape, change the width to 100 and height to 70. Then change the color to white and set the corner radius to the maximum. Position it like this to create a button shape. Right-click the duplicated layer and convert it into a compound clip. Add a transform keyframe at the beginning. Move forward about 2 seconds, then move the shape to the other side of the button. Now you'll see a toggle animation. To smooth it out, right-click the layer and open Variable Speed Animation, go to the X graph and apply Circular Ease. For the color change animation, duplicate the first button shape layer and change its color to green. Go to the 1 second mark, add an opacity keyframe and set it to 0. Then go to the 2 second mark and set opacity back to 100. Open the graph and apply cubic out to the opacity. Now the button animation is done. Select these 3 layers and convert them into a compound clip. Duplicate it twice and place them next to the other texts so all 3 have the toggle animation. Now let's create a turn-off animation for the bottom one. Double-click that layer to go inside the compound clip. Select the layer, delete the first keyframe, and move the second keyframe to the beginning. Then go to 2 seconds and set the X position to 0. Open the graph and apply Circular Ease. For the middle layer, set opacity to 100 at the first keyframe and 0 at the second. Then apply cubic out to the keyframe graph. Click this arrow to return to the main timeline. Now let's add some overall motion. Select all layers except the background and create a compound clip. Add a transform keyframe at the beginning, set the scale to 90 and move it slightly downward. Then go to around 2 seconds and set the scale to 95, bringing it back to the center. Next, move to the 4 second mark and set the scale back to 90. Finally, open the graph editor and apply quad ease to all graphs. Now the animation is done, but to make it smoother, we can add a slight shadow. To do this, duplicate the layer, go to Curves and pull the graph all the way down to turn it into a dark shadow. Then position it slightly behind and to the side to create the shadow effect. Set the opacity to around 50. Next, add a blur effect twice and set the blur to 100 for a softer look. You can adjust the opacity based on your preference. And just like that, this animation is complete. Next, we're creating this clean adjustment slider animation. Let's start with the background. Just like before, add a white background to the timeline. Then add a square shape and scale it up to fully cover the screen. Pick any color you like. I'll go with blue. Now convert it into a compound clip. Add a circle mask, place it toward the bottom like this, and increase the feather to the maximum. Then lower the opacity to around 40. Now your background is ready. Let's start the animation. First, add a square shape and adjust it into a rectangle like this. Set the corner radius to 28 and change the color to dark gray. Next, add another square shape and adjust it like this. Set the width to around 930 and height to 75 with the corner radius at maximum. Reduce the opacity to 20 and place it around Y position 110. Now add another shape layer. Set the width to 870 and height to 25. Set the corner radius to the maximum and place it at the same Y position. Duplicate this layer and change its color to blue. Next, add a circle shape. Set the width and height to 55. Change the color to blue and enable stroke. Set the stroke color to white and the weight to 3. Place it at the center of the bar. Now add a text layer and type your first word. Use the SFUI display semi-bold font. Set the size to around 8 and place it above the bar at around Y position 350. Lower the opacity to 70. Next, add another square shape. Set the width to 880 and height to 40 with the corner radius at maximum. Place it at around Y position minus 330. Duplicate this layer and change the color slightly, either lighter or darker than the previous shapes. Now duplicate the text layer, move it to around Y position minus 120 and change the word. Now the final layout should look like this. Let's animate it. Select the small circle layer and convert it into a compound clip. Go to the 1 second mark and add a transform keyframe. Place the circle on the left side of the bar. Move forward to around 1.2 seconds and move the circle slightly forward. Then go to 2.2 seconds and move it slightly back, not all the way to the start. Finally, go to 4 seconds and place it on the right side of the bar. Right-click the layer, open Variable Speed Animation, go to the X graph, and apply Cubic Ease. Next, select the blue bar layer below and convert it into a compound clip. Add a split mask and rotate it to minus 90 degrees. Go to the 1 second mark, position the mask on the circle, and add a keyframe. Repeat this for the same positions where you added keyframes before. Open the graph and apply Cubic Ease to the position X graph. Now select the second blue bar layer. Add a mask keyframe at 1 second, placing the mask on the right side outside the bar. At the next keyframe, move the mask to the left. So the idea of this animation is, when the top bar increases, the bottom one decreases in parallel. At the last keyframe, place it fully to the left and outside. Apply Cubic Ease to the graph. Now I add this hand PNG. Set the scale to around 15. Add a transform keyframe at the 1 second mark and place the hand on the circle. Match its position with the circle animation like before. At the beginning and ending frames, place the hand outside the frame. Open the graph editor and apply Cubic Ease to both the X and Y graphs. Finally, let's add some overall animation. Select all the layers except the background and convert them into a compound clip. Add a transform keyframe at the beginning and move it slightly downward. Then go to the 1 second mark and bring it back to the center. After that, add more keyframes at 2, 3, 4, and 5 seconds. Now open the Y position graph and adjust it like this to create a subtle floating motion. And now you've got a clean and smooth animation. Now for the final one, we're creating this product-based animation. First add the white background, then go to Adjust and set white to minus 12. Then add a square shape and scale it into a rectangle like this. Set the corner radius to 25, place it slightly below the center and change the color to white. Now we're going to create a simple morph effect. Duplicate the shape layer and lower the opacity of the bottom layer. We'll use it as a reference. On the duplicated layer, add a transform keyframe at the beginning and another at the 1 second mark. Go back to the first frame, decrease the height of the rectangle like this, and align it exactly with the bottom of the reference layer. Open the keyframe graph and apply rebound out to both the Y position and height graphs. Now let's add a subtle shadow. Duplicate the layer, select the bottom one, and convert it into a compound clip. Go to Curves and drag the graph all the way down to make it black. Position it slightly down and to the side to create a shadow. Add a blur effect and lower the opacity to around 10. Now I add this iPhone image. You can use any product image you want. Then I simply remove the background. Move to the 1 second mark, add a transform keyframe, and place it on the shape like this. Add 2 more keyframes around 1.2 seconds and 2.1 seconds. At the beginning frame, place the phone completely below the shape. Open the keyframe graph and adjust the Y graph curves like this to create a bouncy slide-up animation. After that, convert the layer into a compound clip. Add a rectangle mask, match the width to the shape, and make the height slightly taller, because we need to make the phone pop out from inside the shape. Now let's add the rest of the details. Add a text layer and type the product name. I use SFUI display semi-bold font. Set the size to around 7, change the color to black, and place it at around X position -620 and Y position 120. Now I'm going to make a bouncy slide-up animation for the text. I already showed how to do that before, so I won't spend too much time on it here. After that, add another text layer. I type the product color name, color to dark gray, set the size to 6, and place it below the main text. Apply a simple in animation. Next, I add this Apple logo here and apply a bouncy pop-up animation. Same theory as before. Use 3 keyframes with about 10 frames between each. At the first keyframe, set the scale to minimum, then adjust the graph. Next, add a circle shape. Set the width and height to 70 and place it below the text. Go to around the 5-second mark, duplicate the circle and place it next to the first one. Do it one more time. Now change the colors of each circle to match the product. Then add the same bouncy pop-up animation like before. Next, add a rectangle shape. Set the width to around 600 and the height to 100 and set the corner radius to maximum. Add a transform keyframe at the beginning frame, then add 2 more keyframes with about a 10-frame distance. At the first frame, turn it into a circle by setting the width and height to around 100. Open the keyframe graph and add rebound out. Add a text layer and type the price of the product, place it inside the shape and add an in animation. Now for the final touch, the hand animation. I add this hand PNG around the 1.10 second mark and set the size to 12. Add a keyframe at around 2.15 seconds and place the hand on the second color circle. At the beginning frame, place the hand outside the frame. Use rotation to make it smoother. Now to create the click animation, move forward 5 frames, decrease the scale by 2 points, then move forward another 5 frames and set the scale back to normal. Then move forward again and place the hand on the third circle. Repeat the same click animation. After that, move forward and place the hand on the first circle. And repeat the click animation again. At the end, move the hand out of the frame. Open the keyframe graph and apply quad ease to all graphs. Now add the click animation to the color circles. Go to the exact same keyframe positions used for the hand, then add keyframes to each circle at those same points. Decrease the scale to around 90 on the second keyframe. As the final step, update the phone colors. Split the phone layer at the same positions where we added the click animation. Now you'll see the layer split into 4 parts. Double-click the second part. You'll notice a light area between 2 darker areas. Split that part and drag and drop the second color phone image to replace it. Do the same for the third part. Then go back to the main timeline and do the same for the color text layer. Split it and change the text to match each color. And after that, this animation is complete. So as you saw, it's not as complicated as it looks. You just need to understand the structure. Now take what you learned and create something clean and smooth. See you next time.